If probably there's anything I have to add to what he had also said, I can also add it. Hope we get. So that's how we are going to flow with this class. So having two designers, I think, is a great thing. We are sharing two different experience. So he's a very he has a very like um, good experience in the world of graphics too before he started UI UX design. So I think you all know me. So it is about I've been anchoring programs. I'm a graphic designer and web developer. So we are starting now. So I'm anchor the program to him. So we'll start the program.
Good evening, everyone. Please, can you see my screen? Please, can you see the screen?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, no problem. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ayuba Abdulfatah.
Yes, sir, I can see your screen.
Okay, a UI UX designer. I'll be taking you guys together with my co-tutor. I'll be taking you guys on introduction to graphic design. Some of you might already know me from our previous UI UX class. So let's get straight into it. This is our general introduction, how to start as a graphic designer, softwares you would need, requirements, elements of graphic design, principle of graphic design, design types and process, hack tips, trends, then starting out as a graphic designer. So let's go to the next slide. Yeah, general introduction. What is graphic design? Graphic design is the art or skill of combining text, picture, in an organized manner for advertisement, magazine, books, etc. through creative process. So just like most of us already know, if for some of you that attended our UI UX class, I told you that design generally is about creativity. It's about how you use your creative thinking to solve a user's problem. So as a graphic designer, you are not just designing just because you feel like designing. You are designing because you want to solve your client's problem. So graphic design is about finding solution to your client's problem through combining text, pictures in an organized manner for advertisement, magazines, book through creative process. So the advertisement, magazines, book, they are just instances on what you can use graphic design for. Aside this, you can use graphic design for a lot of things, a host of many other things, where you have stuff like logo design, business card design, and others. I think we'll come across that while we progress through the presentation. Graphics, visual expression, design, thinking process, organization, layout of stuff. So basically, that's just it. You have to think, come up with a solution to your client's problem. Your clients wants a flyer that would help her market her business. How do you solve that with design? That is what your job is as a graphic designer, basically. Next slide. These are how how to start as a graphic designer. How to start as a graphic designer: determination, focus, and confidence. Just like I said in the last class, for you to begin anything, you have to make that self resolution that, okay, I want to start this stuff. I'm ready to start this stuff. So you have to conclude that, okay, I want to start this graphic design. You already have a basic knowledge. You've been hearing graphic design everywhere, graphic design. You don't know what graphic design is all about. And then you walked up to a friend and he explained to you. And then you concluded that, okay, you want to give it a try. So you have to have that determination that I am ready to start graphic design. Let me use myself as an instance. I started graphic design when I was 16. I think, yeah, 16 years. I started graphic design I was 16. Then I was just playing. I came across this is nice, this is nice. So I just downloaded it on my own system and then I started trying things out. So I basically, at a point when I saw designs out there, I was fascinated. I wanted to do it. I was someone that loves creativity. So I still am actually. I'm someone that loves creativity. So I wanted to like practice what I saw, try and come up with my own stuff. So that was how I started graphic design. So you have to be focused. You need to have a focus. You need to know what you want to do. Don't be confused. That's just the thing. You can start out just like me. I started out as a graphic designer, and along the line, I decided to go into the field of UI UX. But don't start as a graphic designer and then you've not progressed to anywhere, and then all of a sudden you just want to change field. So you have to be focused. You have to know what you want to do. You have to be confident, and just like we said, you have to start. For you to learn something, you just have to start, because you can't keep procrastinating. If you keep procrastinating, it doesn't work. Then you have to learn in steps. Don't jump around. Learn the basic theories of design. Everything has rules and regulation guiding it. So you need to know all these basics. You have to practice, keep practicing. Meet colleagues and discuss about design. That's the community for you. When I started designing, I worked at a cafe. Then I had just little knowledge. My designs were not that good, but then I knew at that point I decided to try and see if my design could fetch me a job, and I did it. I was asked to design an ID card, and I did, and the job came, and I also resumed the following day. So while working in that place, that was how I was able to fine-tune my design skills. My co-worker was very good with CorelDRAW. Like, the guy was a very, very good designer. So then I had to watch and learn. So that's one thing in your journey as a designer. Don't feel like you can do everything. You can't do everything. That is not how to learn. You can't do everything. Learning requires you learning on your own and also learning from others. So you have to be humble and be cool-headed. Something you don't know, ask. So basically, he will guide you. Have a mentor. Yeah, you need to have a mentor. There are a lot of mentors out in the design community. Me, basically, I have my own mentor. Then when I was still the beginner, even right now, I still have mentors that I go to when I'm. So next slide. Creativity. These are like ingredients. This is like the major ingredients you need as a graphic designer. The number one skill you need to have as a graphic designer is creativity. Creativity is an art of producing something unique, and it can be from anybody: designer, beginner, professional. It is the creation of something unique out of nothing. It deals with imagination and feeling to make a difference. So all these are grammar, but I feel like it is clear. You have to be creative. At times when I want to design, let's say I have a flyer. Sometimes I sit down, I just come up with sorry, please, can anyone still hear me? I think I had issues with my network.
Yes, I can hear you.
So I think we're at the slide showing the skills of our creativity. So these are like one of the stuff you need to have as a graphic designer. As a designer, generally, creativity is one of the major ingredients. You need to be very, very creative. If you are creative, you would know how to use the skill you have, to solve the problem. You know how to think outside the box. A teacher of mine once said, think like there's no box. So you understand, when you're able to think outside the box, or even think like there's no box, you tend to find yourself coming up with unique ways to solve problem. That's how you come up with beautiful designs that people would see and they'll be like, wow, this is nice. This is nice. So as a graphic designer, when you are creative, it gets to a point where you don't have to introduce yourself. Your design does the introduction for you. Merely looking at your design, people already know, okay, this is your job. You understand? So you have to be creative. And sources of creativity is from practicing. You have to practice consistently. Work on yourself. Develop yourself first. That's the most important thing. As a beginner in anything, you have to work towards your own self-development. You have to work towards your own self-development. You have to be someone that, like stated in this slide now, unsatisfaction and curiosity of uniqueness. So if you design, look at it and say, okay, it's nice, but then how can you improve? And then you work towards improving it. you try something new again, you look at it and be like, okay, this is good. How do I improve it? So like that, you keep reiterating, you keep, practicing, and before you know it, you see that your creative skill will start improving. You understand? A lot of people battle with creativity at the beginning. It's normal. It's okay for you to, not be creative, for you to not find ways to, come up with things. That's why I always advise people to go out there, look at other people's design. You're not looking at their design simply because you want to copy what they are doing. No, you're looking at their design simply because you want to improve and enhance your own creativity. You understand? The more you see other people's design, the more you see how they go through things, the more you see how they come up with solutions to problems. That way, it builds your own creativity. It's just like watching someone doing something over and over and over and over again. At a point, you yourself, you become accustomed to that kind of thing. You get familiar with it. It becomes easy for you to do. So, not to waste time, we'll move to the next slide. Requirements and softwares needed as a graphic designer. Well, in the community out there these days, we have a lot of designers now. We have designers who design with system, and we have designers who design with phone. Both are wonderful, both are awesome. So whichever works for you, because these days not everybody has a system, and at times you can be in a location where you don't have access to your system. That's when your phone comes in place. That's when you can design with your phone. So to start as a designer, basically you need your phone, your computer, and your sketchpad. So your computer, it can either be Windows, MacBook, but whichever one you have, it works perfectly. And for system, you can for phone, any phone that is how capable of running the application that you would be using for your design, whichever one you have, it's actually okay for you to use. Softwares you'll be needing. CorelDRAW. I started with CorelDRAW as a designer. I always advise everyone begin with CorelDRAW. If you are going to be using CorelDRAW, if you are going to be using a computer, start with CorelDRAW. CorelDRAW is like the basic design tool you can start with. CorelDRAW, you have Photoshop, you have Illustrator. So Photoshop and Illustrator are from the same family, Adobe family. The CorelDRAW is like the only one entirely on its own. So by the time you get yourself familiar with CorelDRAW, then you move to Photoshop. Photoshop is actually a very nice tool too, because it gives you how do I put it, the ability to what's the word? The ability to I can't find the word. So it gives you the ability to just manipulate. That's the word. It gives you the ability to manipulate. So with Photoshop, you can do a lot of manipulations. But then with CorelDRAW, if you are very good at it, you can do same too with CorelDRAW. And we have Illustrator. Illustrator basically for coming up with illustrations and logo designs too. People use Illustrator for professional logo designs. Other applications include InDesign, Autodesk and Sketchbook, Dimension, Blender. Blender is used to create 3D designs. Lightroom is used to edit pictures. So you understand, you can be a graphic designer that works basically on image, lighting effects, and manipulation. And for smartphone softwares, you'll be needing are Canva, Pixel and Poster. I'm familiar with only Canva because I'm more of a system designer than a phone designer. I design majorly with my system. I've done I don't think I've done any design on my phone, but majorly with my system, I've designed a lot of designs. So yeah, that's that. So I think this is the end of my own part. My co-tutor will continue from the elements of graphic design, basically. Thank you very much for listening.
So, are you all hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are hearing
So,
you.
like I've said before and earlier that Afata, you can no. So like I've said before that the class is like by two speakers, and whatever the first speaker says, the second speaker can add to it. Whatever the second speaker says, the first speaker can also add to it. So regarding what I think I noticed a thing, and when we were talking about Photoshop, there's something you should note about Photoshop and Illustrator, that Photoshop deals with raster image. That is, it deals with images that when you enlarge it or you reduce it, it can affect the image quality. Let me just put it like that. So raster image are image that maybe when you enlarge it or you reduce it, it can affect the image quality. Do you understand? So meaning that if you are working with Photoshop, which is a raster image based software. You have to be very
Sir,
careful in.
we can't see the video.
Yes, it had been said before, so that was why I didn't share my screen. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
So it had been said before, that was why I didn't share it. So like I've said, that Photoshop is raster based. So, and Illustrator and CorelDRAW, they are, though I can't say CorelDRAw has vector based features. So let me just put it like that. So Illustrator is majorly vector based. Why I said CorelDRAW has some vector based features is that CorelDRAW also has raster based features. Do you understand? We can do some things in CorelDRAW on images that has some similarities with Photoshop. So it has some raster image like properties. So what do we mean by vector? If we say something is vector based, it means that if an image is vector based, no matter how much you enlarge it, no matter how much you reduce it, it will still be the same quality. So I think that's that. Another thing is that raster images are made up of pixels. Pixels are very small box. I've forgotten the the measurement they use for a pixel, but it's very, very small. Do we get? There are small boxes. If you enlarge, if you like zoom into an image very, very well, we'll see box. Those boxes are what we call pixels. They are very small boxes that are the one that comprise the image. So that's another thing about rasters. The raster images, they are made up of pixels, but vector images are what? They are made up of like lines, or what can I say, or points. Don't know how to put the word, and they can be enlarged and reduced. So probably, so let me continue from this aspect. So the element of design is an aspect that most people, let's say most people, all designers will know it one way or the other. Let me say it like that. All designers will know it one way or the other, but not all designers fully comprehend it. Because you can't see any designer and ask him or her something, the person will be able to say some things about it, but not everyone fully comprehend the element of design and principles of graphic design. So it is what makes your design unique. If you really understand elements of design and principles of graphic design, it makes your design unique. And it is one of the things that designers usually tell people, even before you start learning software, you have to know elements of design and principles of design, like the theory of design, before you even start learning how to use software. They say, because if you know how to use software and you don't know how to design, then what's the use? But if you know how to design, and this can help one's creativity. All these elements of design, they are like time worked. It's a work it is a theory that had been written over timed experience, over many works that had been done. That this is that. Hope you get. So merely knowing it and fully understanding it can improve your design always. So element of design. When we mean an element, it means something that a design is composed of. What it is that it is composed of a design, that in a design you will always see one or the other. I think I am saying it right. So that's what is basically an element of design. So I'll be saying it very brief since it's many and time is not on our side. So the element will be made mention, and I would describe some things about it, and I'll say what we usually use it for. So the element, we have 8 elements. In some cases we see 7, but anyhow. So line, like we know, line is a distance between 2 points. Abina is a distance between 2 points from a point to another place. So, and line can be in different form: width, length, and length. So that's a mistake. So what I mean by this is that line can be in different form. I can draw 5 lines and they'll be in different forms. Do you get? A line can be a very good straight line. A line can be a dashed line. A line can be a, do you get? In all those forms that a line can be. And a line can be like, can has a very high weight, like can be very weighted, and a line can just be very thin. So, and length too can differ. All these things, these three things that I mentioned, form, weight, length, you can manipulate these three things to create a very good blasting design with only line. Mainly designing a book cover, if you just use different line weights, use one weight that is big, middle, small, or you are writing your word and you are using different line forms, maybe colors. Forms can be in form of color too. Yeah, then you use one color for a line and that color for a line. It can give an outstanding design. Do you get? And lines can be used for many things. Infographics, stressing words. We can use line for developing borders. We can use line for structural organization of our books. If perhaps we are writing books, and we can use line for decoration. You can use line to draw. You can use it to decorate things. You can use it to make things. So I think that is clear. Infographic is like, how can I say it? Like an information. You want to pass an information, but in a very small and illustrated way. So instead of you writing too much, you are just illustrating an information. I think this is the best way I can say it. Probably our second speaker would add more to that. So the color. So color is one of the most important thing in design, and it's like it determines how attracted someone would be directed to one design, how like someone will stay or will keep on checking your design. So color, depending on how you know the principles of color. So we have color theories and color wheel. So color theory, there are theories that guides in using color. So, and I just mentioned some things where I won't go too much on that. There are many books reading and there are many videos you can check. So we have primary color. Those are the primary color, the basic primary color, and we did this probably in our primary schools. So many of us get an article back way. But if I ask someone now, please let me even ask, what is the primary color? Graphic designer in the house? Anybody?
I think primary color blue. I mean, green, red, and blue.
Okay. Yes, you are right. So they are the basic colors that it is not like it is not mixed, it is not gotten from mixture of any color. They are the basic form of color that can be. But secondary color, they are mixture of primary colors. Do you get? So and tertiary color, they are mixture of what secondary colors. So all these things gives rise to to variety of color ranges. So and that we can use for our design. So we'll be hearing indigo, we'll be hearing violet, we'll be hearing different colors. So we have warm color and cool color. The warm color are colors that the psychology behind a design. The psychology behind design. Psychology is that's why graphic design is very, very, is like you are studying people. You are studying what will make this person see my design and fall for it. So it's psychology. So every aspect of graphic design has a psychology behind it. So in color theory now, they usually say warm colors are colors that what they bring force, that you should do something. Let's say now I want you to buy a book and I use color red. Color red brings about persuasion that buy it, something like that. So those are warm color, red, orange, and of those sorts. They are warm colors. They bring attraction. They bring persuasion to do something. But cool color are color that is not that they bring persuasion. They bring something like security. They bring something like trust. Example is blue, like purple. Those are warm, cool color. Hope we get. So everything has psychology behind it. We have color harmony. It's mixing many color. So if you want to do a design, most people, when I started as a graphic designer, actually I had started designing since I left primary school, as in primary 6 to my GS1. That was when I started designing. But it became a time I left it. So when I started back again, I had issues, most especially with colors, because I had issues with mixing colors. So when I started then, I was using color wheel. Color wheel is like a wheel, something that it will have many colors, and it will combine colors for you. Do you get? An example is Adobe color wheels. So color harmony is like color that goes with themselves. So it can be in different form. It can be in complementary. So, and it can be monochromatic, and it can be analogous and triad. So I should have explained this, but I wouldn't go too much. But if you want to learn more on this, let's check Adobe Color Wheel on our Meg. We see the color wheel. So if you want to design anything and we don't know how to go about the color, let's just go there, pick anything we want, and we
I'm
surely
sorry.
see.
Sorry.
Okay.
What do you call it? You check what?
Adobe Color Wheel. Adobe is in the
Adobe.
arcs and tips. And we'll still talk about it in the arcs and tips. So what's the usefulness of color? Color is used for communicating a mood or provoking an emotion, like I've said before. I don't have to go much in this. So we have shape. What is a shape? If you notice, let's check a rectangle. When we say rectangular shape, is that inner structure? If that place it is occupying that we mean by the rectangle. So what determines a shape is the outline of that shape. Those lines, those 3 lines that we draw, bam, 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 that is the outline, is what determines the inner shape, that figure. So a shape is what? A figure that is contained in an outline, that has an outline at its extreme, at its side. Do we get? It has dimension, it can have width and height. We have geometric shape. Those are the 2D and 3D. Whenever we hear geometric, we should know that it's something uniform, something that is equal size, something that it is like precise. So when you hear organic, you know that it is not precise, it is less uniform. So organic shape are shapes that are less uniform, that are not precise, they are symmetrical, that is, they are not equal. So example, there are leaves. If you check leaves, leaf does not have a particular shape, it can have different shapes. So that's an organic shape. So what's the function of shapes? If you notice, many of us have designed before and used rectangle. Many of us put picture in it. Many of us have designed before, we used circle, put picture in it. Or we wrote a word and used a rectangle maybe for a border for that for the word, and many other things. So they are used for many things. Can use a shape for different things, to even design, to draw, to do many things. So part of the uses are what? Connection of shapes brings about feeling, emphasis, and engage the audience. So if you notice, if you just design and you are using text only, and you use different shapes and design you see that engagement of the audience with design that has shapes will be more than a design that is just text. So that's it. It lays emphasis. And image decoration, we use shape, we put our image inside shape now. So, and texture too. So it's shape we use to create our textures. Do we understand? Please go on meeting. So, and that's that. I will stop at that. So I'll go to texture. So texture is, what do you know about texture? Let me ask us. What do you know about texture? I think it's very necessary to ask us. I'm hearing.
I don't have
Anybody?
any idea on texture.
Texture, okay. Anybody else? An example is that, have you ever seen a design? Okay, who is that?
Yeah, texture. Texture is material, or you can
Please, I'm not hearing well. I can't hear you. Have you ever seen a design before that we will feel this design is smooth, or we feel this design is rough? Hope you are getting what I'm saying. Or we feel this design seems rough, like you are touching the design gun, it is roughing, like it is roughing your hand. Do you get? Sometimes they may write a word and they will put some dots. So textures are, to keep some things short, they are shapes that are repeated. So an example, alhamdulillah, there's a texture here. Let me check for you. Hope we are seeing. I
Yes,
hope the
yeah.
image is here. I'm coming. Let me check. Please let me have some. How can I check this? I'm sorry, just give me some minutes. So texture are shapes that are what? That are repeated. So they are repeated to just serve as maybe background. To serve as background for someone. And so this is the same book, but it was re-edited. So this is a texture. Can you see it? This. Hope you are seeing it.
Can I give a brief about
Hope you are seeing the texture first.
We are
This
seeing it,
with
yes.
purple, green. So it's just an example. There are many more forms, but it's just an example. So you see that it is like a repeated shape. It is formed from repeating shapes. That same shape, we are now repeating it. Shall we get? So that's just the basic things about texture. So who has something to say?
textures are for my own just like this layout when layout give info about this in the background. They are mostly used in the background. So they create kinds of
So
feelings to the audience.
yes. So it creates
That's
feelings.
the
So texture can be, you can make texture from dot. That there will be many dots, and you put a design, someone will be feeling like this thing is rough. Hope we get. So it is used to create a particular touch feeling, a particular sense feeling. I usually use in what? Background. They can put it in a text in word to make it feel like the word, to make it come to life. So I think that's just texture. So it's like repetition. So here now I said repetition of same shape. It is a feel of surface. Maybe how smooth it is, how rough it is. So and we can have different types of texture. I won't go much in that. So what's the influence of texture? We can use texture to design. If you check what I showed us before, it was a form of design. So I can use it to design, and even I can use it as background. I will not lighten it in a way that it will not really show. Shall we get? So those are the usefulness of texture. Another one is typography. Typography is like text that has been made nice. A text, we know text in a normal our text that had been made nice, that we had applied some rules. We have normal text now. And I want to when we apply some theories to normal text, and maybe we make the text somehow like this, and anyhow we want to, it makes a typography. Hope we get. So it's like a design, a text that had been designed for you to make your graphics. So you get. So it's just like text now. It's like font. It's the same thing as font. So it is the combination font, and if you check, it is made up of shapes. So I think that's just that. Another thing I would say we can study about is anatomy of font. Font art has its anatomy. So, and again, we have 3 types of font, and this is what things that can make design different. If you are an expert in design, you should know that if you want to design for a corporate company, you use serif font. Serif font. If you want to design for something lively, something entertaining, you use sans serif font. If you want to design for maybe something, maybe handwriting, something calligraphy, you can use a script. So what's a serif font? A serif font is a font that has a serif. I hope I can see a serif font here, but I don't know if we really use it. But let me use a sans serif font to do as an example. See this T. Are we seeing the T here? Are we seeing the T here?
Yes.
You see that the T is just straight. It does not have anything up. So any shape that doesn't have anything above it is called a serif shape. It's just straight. I hope I can not. I don't have the. We don't really use a sans serif, but I hope we get it.
Yes,
So
you are getting.
a serif font will always have an extension. If you know Time New Roman very well, is a serif font. Hope we get. So all this one we use in this material as sans serif font, you see that they don't have any extra extensions. So and I've said where we where we can use them. So what is the usefulness of font? It conveys message. It is one of the most direct way. If I'm correct, it is a direct way to convey message, and that's just it. Convey more message because people will be able to read it. Do you get? So we have form, which is the last one of the element of design. Form is like the form a shape can be. Normally, the basic form that a design is 2D. We know 2D now. 2D is all these things we are seeing. This picture that we are seeing here is a 2D now. It has only length and breadth. But if you say 3D, 3D is an object that has. We know how 3D is now. So form is like how the form of an object can be. Do you get? So to put it simple, form is just making something 3D. I don't know if I have any 3D objects here, but I hope we can get it and go and check for it later. So the form of an element can be in form of what? 3D. So they say it's a way of arranging an element in the entire composition. It can be described as any 3D of a 2D element. So and a 3D element will have 3 dimensions. It will have width, it will have depth, and it will have height. But a 2D shape will only have 2 dimensions, which is width and height. So what do we use form for? If you take many flyers we see nowadays, if they want to do the large display, learn affiliate marketing today, those things, we see that they won't just use 2D. They use 3D that it will seem it is real. It will seem it is coming to you. I just hope I can see I hope I can see a 3D. But we should all know 3D effect. I don't think I have. Let's respond so that I won't have to stress myself. Nobody? I think this is a design I saw recently. And this is like a 3D design. We can see size, width, and height or something like that. So I just brought it to just show us about 3D. It's different from all this one we are seeing right now. So that's that. Principle of design. Principle are things. I think this class would be on hold, and maybe by 7 we would continue. We only have some slides to finish, and they are very important aspects. This principle of design is one of the very most important aspects we have to take note. So in about 7 o'clock, we'll continue the class. Thank you so much. So
جزاكم الله خيرا.
welcome.